What's up, everybody? I'm Z-Wade, the Z-Wade in Z-Wade Photo, and what I wanted to do today, I was reviewing some older bodyscape images, and when I say old, I mean old. And I can tell just in the aperture that I'm shooting that, I was very much still learning a lot. And I want to compare some of those to some of my more recent work. I want to mention that I'm just going over a couple images today. Obviously, it's censored for the public, but if you want to see the full video as well as some additional photos that I'm not including in here from recent shoots, then you can consider becoming a member of the channel. Members of the channel get all of my content early, as well as member-only videos and uncut and uncensored content. So this one, I shot this at f2.2, which is hilarious because I would never shoot a bodyscape at f2.2. And I just feel like that these Nikon D610 images did not age well. I don't know what I was doing with these skin tones, but I have clearly also learned a lot about editing. Like, this looks terrible up here. What is that even doing? The only cool thing in this image, and I might actually experiment with this in the future, I can guarantee you this was an accident, but the light coming through here is really cool. And if I were to compare this with something recent, it's a totally different pose because I've learned a lot about posing. This is literally just a model laying on the ground, and this is what I would compare with my modern work. And jumping in at 100%, you can just see that the texture of the skin is just incredible. The shadows, zooming back out, you can see that I'm not even lighting it in the same way. Back in the day, I was using continuous lighting, and now I use flash and I light from a different angle, and it's just so much different. Here's another old one, and at first glance, you might not think that this is terrible, but compared to my modern work, it's pretty wretched, in my opinion. I just remember thinking like how good I thought this was like 7 or 8 years ago, and it's just kind of funny to think about. It's a good practice to go back and look at your older work and just see how you've grown. And if I were to compare this with something recent, I would compare it to this. It's kind of the same concept. Obviously, this one is in color. We can simply do that. This versus this. It's just such a huge difference in the quality of lighting, the texture. Let's look at the skin here. This was shot at f3.5. So we don't have a ton in focus, and we don't really have rich shadows. Coming back to the modern recent shoot, shot at 6.3, which is the minimum of bodyscapes for me. And looking in, this is a testament to new cameras too. Every single line of the skin, granted, you would get some of this in the older DSLR cameras. I was shooting the D610 at this time of the old one, but the resolution is insane. But also shot at 6.3, and because I'm using flash instead of continuous lighting, I have much more power, and I'm able to shoot at 64 ISO. Now this I shot at 100 ISO, but that was probably an accident because I am able to shoot at 64 ISO, and so I do. And on this one, I went ahead and put this in black and white already, but I just wanted to show you how bad. I don't know what happened with this image, but I started laughing out loud whenever I saw the color. I put this in black and white, but this is it in color. I don't know what I was doing. This, surely I didn't deliver this. There's almost no fixing this in JPEG form. I would have to go back to this is a little better, but my word. Ready? This is just with some color adjustments. Wow. I don't know. I must have been experimenting or something. I'll end on this image. You guys have seen this image in the I used the Nikon Z8 for 3 months, all questions answered. This is the image that came up before I went into my rant calling out all the clowns, and it just happens to be like one of my favorite bodyscapes. It's not as deep and rich in the shadows, but I love the pose. It's super dramatic, and it has just enough shadow. And getting in here on the texture here of the skin, it's just amazing. This was shot with the Nikon Z8. I shot this at, f5.6 at 200 ISO. Yep. This actually wasn't in studio. This was in like the back room of the model's house. And so, you know, I wasn't working with my full space, my full gear set, you know, my full room to maneuver. But you know, it still looks great. I don't know why it's at 5.6 instead of 6.3. Maybe I was trying to save some light. But that'll be the last image for the public censored content. If you want to see extra images and from recent shoots, I'm pretty much done with the old stuff. But if you want to see some really, really awesome work, consider becoming a member of the channel. And for the members, I'll see you over in the members corner. I'm Z Wade, the Z Wade, and Z Wade Photo. Stay sharp, YouTube.